I'm an actor. I'm serious. I can do this. I can do my own segment. I can look at a camera and I can do it. Alrighty. Shall we begin? I think we should. I'm going to get comfortable. All right. Yeah. Hello. We're back with a brand new segment of Emma Everywhere. This is the November segment. I'm very, very happy to be back. Thank you guys for having me back. Welcome back. I don't think Royal realized this when he challenged me, but he challenged me to watch the film To Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. I did not realize the significance that this film has in the drag community and the queer community at large until I watched this film.
Honey, hush.
I'm very, very happy that Royal challenged me, and being a member of that community, which, surprise, if you know me, you're not really, really surprised knowing that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not.
I mean, it's fine if that's who you are.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have many gay friends.
My father's gay.
Being a part of that community, getting to actually watch this film and realize, oh wait, those are moments in pop culture that I recognize and that I realize, that was actually super fun for me. So Royal, thank you very much for challenging me. I enjoyed this a lot.
You are welcome.
So first and foremost, for those of you who have not watched the film, I would highly recommend watching the film, especially if you are a member of the drag/queer community, which I know that a lot of my friends are. So this film follows 3 drag queens as they try to road trip to California. It's basically the drag queen pageant for the USA. And as they're driving there, their Cadillac that they bought off of technically Robin Williams, which is great, it breaks down in this small little hick town.
The fuck is that? Shit! I'm dying in this fucking country ass fucked up town. Shit flying in my mouth. The fuck? I can't see pollen. Let's get the fuck out of this country, motherfucker.
And basically, they make over this small little backwater town, which I thought was a really, really fun concept. And this was the first ever major film to feature drag queens as the lead characters, which I really, really liked. The leads are very, very familiar. It's Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes, and I'm gonna mispronounce the name, but it's John... Shit. Can I look it up real fast? John Leguizamo.
Do the fucking do!
Please welcome the multi-talented John Leguizamo.
Whoops. Vita, Noxie, and Chi-Chi. I know John and Patrick both got nominated.
You should have got Oscar.
Which is absolutely deserved watching this film. I think that they did a really, really fantastic job. All 3 of the leads did, I believe, a very, very realistic portrayal of drag queens, which I thought it was interesting considering the time period. It was shot in 1995. It gives off that very campy kind of 70s, 80s kind of vibe as a film. It really, really does. It's dated. It is a dated movie, but it does have a lot of moments that are very, very... If you're in the drag and queer community, one of the final scenes deals with the Adam's apple. Basically, Patrick Swayze is talking with one of the women in the town, and she mentions, she always wanted a lady friend and everything like that, and he kind of tenses up Patrick Swayze's character of Vita, and she mentions the Adam's apple and that she saw it the first day that he came into town and everything like that, and that she's still very happy to have him as her lady friend. And that is a moment I've actually watched several times, and I didn't realize it was from this film, which makes me really, really happy, honestly, finally getting to watch the film, because I think it's very fun and very campy. RuPaul makes an appearance right out of the gate.
Put your hands together for Miss Rachel Tension!
In a Confederate flag dress. I feel like that's something that only really RuPaul could do and get away with. And the fact that this film was shot in the 90s, that's why I say like this film feels like it was shot in the 80s, just because there's a lot of very dated references regarding race. There's a point very early on in the film where they are stopped by a police officer, and it's a very tense scene. And the police officer says some things about Wesley and John's characters, which I will not repeat. I am not allowed to repeat. It is disgusting.
You know, we don't go for that around these parts. White girls riding around with skips and you're getting no.
What you say, bitch?
Skips and you're getting no.
On TV to talk to the man, you speak honky.
And first of all, A+ acting to the guy who played the police officer, because Jesus Christ, that's not a role I could ever play. Each lead played a very, very different kind of drag queen. Wesley played Noxie, and that was the muscle queen. So basically that's the queen with a lot of muscles and everything like that. Patrick Swayze played very much kind of the almost stereotypical like drag queen that you see, very, very femme, very fish, as it's called in the community. And John played the dancing queen, the voguing and the tutting and everything like that. I thought it was really cool that, you know, certain subcategories within drag were represented very, very well in this movie, which, considering this was a movie from the 90s, made me really, really happy that, you know, we got a lot of really good representation, and it's very much a very good moment in pop culture.
Barry, I can see. He's so neat and thin. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
What's very fun to me is I was watching some of the cameos that were made in this film. RuPaul shows up as RuPaul. Lady Bunny shows up basically as Lady Bunny. Naomi Campbell, who is known for her modeling and everything like that and is very much a queer icon in her own right, she makes an appearance.
I wish she was as beautiful as you.
Oh, honey! Good luck.
Which is very funny to me. She says a line of to Wesley's character of, "I wish I could be as pretty as you," and Wesley's basically like, "Bitch, please." Robin Williams shows up.
Hello!
Oh, vida, que bellissima come va.
Darling, enchanté.
Oh, Chever, you spoke French. How bad. Look at you, my little piñata.
John Jangle Jingleheimer Smith? Oh, I can't even say it. Yeah, no, that's the name of the character. That's the actual legitimate name of the character. And I thought that was a really fun cameo. Of course, Julie Newmar makes a cameo as herself at the end of the film, but I'm not going to spoil what happens at the end because I think you should go watch the film. Oh, there's a point where I didn't know where the film was going with the joke, and then it surprised me with where it was going with the joke, which was the basketball scene. The ladies show up to, the drag queens show up to a motel in the middle of nowhere. And, you know, they're very, very concerned. And Chi-Chi gets out of the car, basically going into the hotel. And the other two are very, very scared because, you know, drag queens aren't accepted and they're still not accepted in society. The owner of the hotel is very much like, "Oh, yeah, no, we got people here who look like you." And they show up and it's a ladies basketball team. Basically, it's a lot of muscular women, which I thought was a really funny joke to make. I really liked that joke, and I'm not entirely sure why, but I guess it's kind of normalizing that, yeah, women have muscles. And I just really liked that joke.
Sexuality is a spectrum. You can really do whatever you want.
Nah, that boy gay as hell.
I'm gonna stab your whole ass when we get upstairs to themselves, man. Nigga, sit down.
Johnny, calm down.
Everyone get shut the fuck up now! I know what y'all think she is! Stop being weird, nigga!
I'm not.
A lot of quotable moments in this, especially for those of us who are, you know, queer and everything like that. What in gay hell? Perfect moment. Something that I have to criticize the movie for is its pacing. I felt like there were moments where the pace was just going up and down. A very clear moment for me was we left a really fun scene with the ladies basketball team, I believe, and then we jumped immediately into the scene in the police with the police officer. Which is a very tense, heavy scene because Vita believes that she kills the police officer.
Sean, please don't go over there. Please don't go over there. But then how do you know he's dead?
Oh, I'm not sure. You see, he had his hand up my dress and...
He had his hand up your dress? Was he reading you up?
He was trying to have his way with me. Hand up your dress? Are we having flashbacks? How do you know he's dead? How do you know he's dead?
If you want to know so badly, you go check.
Spoiler alert. But it's a very tense and heavy scene, and to come right after a very fun, lighthearted scene with a really fun joke, like, there's a disconnect sometimes in that pacing. But that cop scene was, like, a lot of gay people still go through that. A lot of people who are, drag queens going out in public who are trans and don't have things like their license changed and everything like that. That is still a very big fear, especially right now in the drag queen and trans community. Most unrealistic part of this movie was how long the drag queen's makeup lasts, and I stand by that point. Yes, I understand every 5 minutes they are changing their makeup and everything like that. Yeah, their makeup does not stay like that for 10 hours. Trust me, makeup does not work like that. It does not work like that. That was the most unrealistic part of the movie for me. The most realistic part of the movie, though, was how many costumes that everybody brought. Because, yes, drag queens do have that many clothes in their closet. Trust me. I know. I'm friends with some. We got a lot of outfits.
Boys are out tonight, huh?
Yes, drag queens have 5 million outfits. There's a couple of scenes that really stood out to me in the movie. Specifically, like, in the middle of the film, there's this cute little gossip scene that they all have in town. And yes, drag queens gossip constantly. Drag queens fighting towards the end of the film. There is a great little moment, again, with some antiquated language and everything like that, between Vita and Chi-Chi.
The little Hispanic retard. I didn't ask to come on this trip, did I? No, I don't think so. Did I ask you to be making me over and jump all kinds of hoops like some circus poodle? No, I don't think so. And do I want to go to jail because of some cop killer? No, I don't think so. Because this trip sucks. It sucks.
After all we have done to include you, you would leave us so quickly?
Like that.
All right. Well, since you have learned absolutely nothing, I am hereby stripping you of all your princess points.
But they immediately make up afterwards. And yeah, that's very much indicative of the gay community and everything like that, is that we will fight like cats and dogs, but we will, in fact, make up and we will be better for it. So I think there were some very, very, very strong scenes in this movie. And especially, I didn't want to spoil the end, but the Strawberry Social is such an important scene. The Strawberry Social is so important because it shows that, like, people shouldn't have prejudices and that people should be just accepted for who they are. And right now we live in a culture where, drag queens are being accused of grooming kids and everything like that. Where queer people are still being attacked because they're seen as disgusting and groomers. And in the 80s, we fought at Stonewall for a reason. It was a black trans woman who threw the first brick at Stonewall. And for us to feel like we've not made any progress today in certain states across the country, in certain parts in this world, there are still people who are ostracized and killed because that they are gay, because they are part of this community. And it's really disgusting to see, and I think that this movie is extremely important because of that climate that we live in right now. You see it every day on Fox News about, transgender people are groomers and everything like that, and that people should detransition. And there are laws that are being made basically saying that kids aren't allowed to be who they are if they're part of our community, and that gender is binary, which is bullshit. Gender absolutely is not binary. Gender is fluid, and I firmly believe in that. And it's just so disheartening that we had a movie being made in 1995 where, a small little community comes together and is very accepting of these women and get these makeovers, and it's very, very beautiful. And to see 27 years later, that we've went backwards in progress, it's just really disheartening.
You always fear what you don't understand.
But that brings me to the makeover scene, because the makeover scene was adorable and absolutely wonderful. Wesley Snipes having that absolute fainting moment over the 1960s clothes was absolutely wonderful. Speaking of, there's a very, very important character in this movie named Loretta, who's actually played by Beth Grant. And what's really fun about Beth Grant is that Beth Grant was interviewed by Royal and Durden last year. So I'm going to let the boys link to whatever segment they want right here. Royal, have fun.
How you doing today? Good. I like talking to a couple of handsome fellers.
Oh, well, thank you so much. She's just trying to make you feel good because I think she saw me twice. Awesome. Thank you so much.
That's right. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's right.
You've worked with the late, great Patrick Swayze, 1995's To Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, and 2001's Donnie Darko. Do you have any memories of him that you'd like to share?
Well, we were in acting class together, as I mentioned, and with Milton Gonzalez, and we worked on Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf together.
Oh, yeah.
And it was extraordinary working with him. And it was around the time that I was starting to accept myself as a character actress. And, Martha's a tough old broad. And when I had envisioned myself, as some gorgeous ingenue, and then now I'm playing, Martha, it was hard for me. And there was a beautiful actress named Darlene Flugel who had been a model, and she was playing Honey. And the other guy, Cal Bartlett, who was playing George, were, flirting with her and paying her attention. And I got tears in my eyes, and he said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "Oh, character actress," whatever I said. And he got me by the shoulders. He said, "Don't you know Colleen Dewhurst is beautiful? Don't you know Maureen Stapleton is beautiful? You're beautiful." And whatever he said meant a lot to me at that time. Really helped me accept who I am as a human being. And then we're in To Wong Foo, and after they've done us up and we're looking good, and I've got the boa and I'm coming downstairs, and I had played it the first take as very campy and ba 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 ba, and he came over and just whispered to me. He said, "Maybe this is a little bit like that day in rehearsal." And I was like, oh my God, I immediately filled up, and I came down the stairs in a very vulnerable way. And I was very moved because Baby Ugly, was pretty now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it was the last take. It's the only take that we had for the rest of the day. And that's the one they used. So I have him to thank for that. And then when I was auditioning for Donnie Darko, there's a lot of stories. I really wanted to do it. I knew Jake since he was 3 years old. And the night I read the script, I was here by myself, and I found myself standing in the middle of the bed when I finished it. It was about 11:30. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. I want to do this movie. So by the time I got into that audition the next day, I came in like a tornado, just Kitty Farmer all over. And I did the reading, and I messed up on the last line, which is, the famous line of, "Sometimes I doubt your commitment to sparkle motion." So what I said was, "Sometimes I doubt your commitment to miracles in motion." And oh my God, they just laughed. And they had told me that Patrick Swayze was playing that part. And I said, "You just have to give me this part," which of course is also very Kitty Farmer. Sean McKittrick told me later, he said, "As soon as you walked in, we knew you were the one." Because I was just chewing my arm off, to get this part. So, but it really did send me over the edge because I already wanted it to get to work with Jake, and the script was so good. But then for him to be playing my hero, and he was brave. He turns out to be, a child pornography ring. He's running a child. So, he was a brave actor. And plus he was a beloved friend, and his wife. And yeah, I worked with her too in class, and we just loved each other. And at the memorial service, it was so beautiful. I mean, they had it over at the Sony lot, and they, on our cars, they had a picture of him riding bareback on his, white Palomino with his shirt off. And then inside they had drummers, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful day. Gorgeous. But it was beautiful, but I still miss him a lot. I really do.
I was gonna say, I think we all do. And remember, I told Netflix has the movies that made us, and we went back, and I don't know if you've ever seen, but if you ever get a chance, Dirty Dancing, they show how they actually made it, how he got picked, and all this stuff. It's like, man, we never saw this stuff before, and just to see him offset, he was a football player, he injured himself, he was a classical dancer. Like, you learn so much about him, and it's like so amazing. So I think we both share that same sentiment.
Yeah, it hit hard because, he's one of those actors I was looking forward to watch gracefully transition into different roles as he got older. That's you know, it's something that we'll never get.
Oh yeah, easily.
Especially with like, I could see him headlining a streaming series, trying out, you know, a different character.
How wrong was I that I used to confuse him when I was younger all the time with Kurt Russell, all the time?
They both had the hair.
I think it was the hair. It had to be. All right, so we're fanning out. We're sorry.
There's a movie you might like to check out called Without a Word. And his wife directed it, and it's about them as dancers. They met in his mother's dancing class. That's how they met in Texas.
Without a Word.
They developed it in our class. And I think it's a terrific movie.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
One of my other favorite moments was this police officer is a dick. This police officer is an absolute pain in the ass. Disgusting human being. But his list of places for homos made me cackle to no end, because he goes to antique stores, which I frequent often. He goes to a ballet school. I took dance, so I guess. It was just a really funny moment, and it's written just so poorly in Sharpie on this piece of paper too. It's one of the funniest things for me. First and foremost, I want to say thank you again to Royal and Durden for making this segment happen. Emma Everywhere would not happen without them, and Royal especially, because Royal's the one who edits all of my segments. I love you, dude.
I love you more.
Now a word from our sponsors.
Cable Access, Channel 62 presents Men on Film.
You know, Patrick Swayze was the real standout in this film. You know, I'd breathe life into his spirit any day.
If I had to give a rating to To Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, I think I would give it 4.5 drag queens out of 5. I think that's what I would give it. I really liked it. I had some problems with the pacing and I had some problems with the language, but I think overall I really enjoyed it. And I had to stop halfway through because I was getting too tired and I couldn't wait to wake up the next morning and just watch the rest of it. I was so excited to just finish this movie. And I can't wait to show it to other people because I think it's a really, really strong movie. And I think it's so important, especially right now in the climate that we live in. Next month, I'm taking on another challenge, actually. Adam and Monique Madrid, shout out to you guys, have challenged me to watch Violent Night, which is the new David Harbour film in which he plays a very violent Santa Claus. I will be watching that film and I will be reviewing it along with discussing what makes a film a Christmas film.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Jingle Bell, Merry Christmas,
I feel like there's always these debates. I'm not talking about those Hallmark movies, but I feel like there's always these debates about, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Is Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas movie? Let's discuss, shall we? If you like what we do here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down below. TTFT would greatly appreciate your support. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next month. Bye.
E-M-M-A-M-A.